As I have mentioned in all of my videos regarding the book of Revelation, that this book was not written by the Apostle John. The Apostle John is just a fictional character created by the Neo-Imperial cult under Vespasian Titus. But actually, this book was written by Emperor Domitian in relation to his new Christian cult, which he inherited from his brother. But again, Domitian changed the cult. This cult was not going to be focused on the Jews. It wasn't going to be aimed at the Jews to worship this newly formed, newly created Messiah, but rather this was written to be aimed at the Gentiles. This was going to be for the entire empire. But specifically, and the title of my video is, Revelation was written as a warning from Emperor Domitian to the future leaders of his church. And this book was specifically written in a very hidden, allegorical style. Everything is metaphorical. Again, nothing is actually literal. Everything is written in this very hidden style, and it's only in chapter 11 of Joseph Atwill's book, Shakespeare's Secret Messiah, that we come to an understanding of what this book is. So, going back, again, as I've pointed out in another video titled Two Christs Within the New Testament, Emperor Domitian presents himself as the new and final Christ of this new Christian religion or Christian cult, which is why he not only labels his brother Titus as a second beast, or the beast, but also his own father Vespasian is the first beast. The book of Revelation allegorically shows Domitian, Emperor Domitian, who is Jesus, essentially, riding on a white horse and slaying his brother Titus, as well as his brother's creation, who is the first Christ and the false prophet. He does this to avenge the deaths of the thousands of Jews killed in the war with Judea. Again, this information is presented in chapter 11 of Joseph Atwill's book, Shakespeare's Secret Messiah. A link is in the description box. The first 3 chapters of Revelation address the 7 churches of Asia and cities where the Roman imperial cult was well known. It is only in these early chapters which mention a Synagogue of Satan and the Nicolaitans, literally meaning victory people, which are the same group actually, Emperor Titus's Neo-Imperial cult, which was specifically aimed at Jews, most likely captured enslaved Jews from the war. Emperor Domitian hated this group because they were still following the Jewish law, which was called the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Domitian created a character called Paul to teach that Christ fulfills the law. Remember, Paul is the apostle to the Gentiles. He had never met the original 12. This shows that, allegorically speaking, that Paul is completely new, a completely new idea, a new path for the faith, because the original 12 taught the law. As we know, and from the Christian narrative, the original 12 most likely taught the law, but Paul taught that Christ fulfills the law, that members of this new Christian faith needn't follow the law, and Domitian, Emperor Domitian, directs the faith towards non-Jews, thus breaking the faith away from Judaism. So this is specifically not Jewish at all. And of course, it's only Domitian, not Titus, who does this. So again, book of Revelation, chapters 14 through 16, describe in an allegorical manner who the first Christ is, who Titus is, the beast, and why he and his father are beasts, and why Domitian must destroy what was created by Emperor Titus and Vespasian. And Domitian must make it known that he is grabbing the messianic branch from Titus to become the new Christ. Revelation chapter 16, verse 17, the 7th angel, who is the character of Jesus, pours his bowl of wrath into the air, just thus transferring power to Domitian. We have this quote, "It is done," which is, again, relates to the very first gospel, the original one, the Gospel of Mark. So again, book of Revelation is sort of like a new Gospel of Mark, because, again, we have a new character. Even though it's the same name, Jesus, essentially we have a new character. And then behind that character, Jesus, we have Emperor Domitian. It is only in Revelation chapter 17 that Domitian is talking directly to the future leaders of his new church in a coded language, or hidden secret language, I should say. In this chapter, we read of a great harlot seated upon many waters. This, of course, refers to Rome, in a negative connotation because it is Rome which has created the Christian religion. And verse 2 refers to the nations and people who have joined the religion, or as the verse states, quote, whose fornication the dwellers on earth have become drunk. Fornication meaning becoming Christian. Verse 5 is another reference to Rome, but here as Babylon. It was written as a warning to the future leaders of the church to not let the common people understand that this is a made-up religion. People look back and curse not only the Flavians, not only Rome, but also the Caesars for creating such a thing. Chapter 18 makes it quite clear how Rome and the Christian faith will be viewed if people were to find out the great secret that Rome had created this. Verse 3 from the same chapter, chapter 18, quote, for all nations have drunk the wine of her impure passion. So again, passion referring to religion, but impure meaning that it has an ugly history. It's created. And verse 5, quote, for her sins are heaped as high as heaven. So again, if people find out about this religion, then how are the common people of Rome, again, we're assuming he's talking about Rome, how are the common people of the Roman Empire going to view Rome? Not just Caesar's, but Rome itself. He's warning the future leaders that if people find out that this is a completely created religion, then Rome might collapse. So again, I don't know, in 2,000 years, I don't know if people actually figure this out, but again, Joseph Atwill figured it out. It's in chapter 11 of his book, Shakespeare's Secret Messiah. And I want to tell you as an audience member that I have read so many books, so many articles about Revelation, and all of these other writings trying to decipher the hidden language of the book of Revelation, they don't really get into it. Like, I read Bart Ehrman's book years ago. I forgot the title of it. I'll put a link in the description box, his book on Revelation. But he just kind of talks about the idea behind the book. He doesn't actually go through each individual verse and mention and talk about what this means. It's only Atwill's description and decipherment of Revelation that really explains the whole thing and the entire picture of the Christian religion. So please click that link and read his book. Thank you very much for listening.